The Windjammer Parade is a highlight of Kiel Week, taking place every year on its last Saturday. It's a spectacular gathering of nearly all the sailing ships from around Kiel. This year is particularly special as the sailing training ship, Gerh Fock, will lead the parade for the first time in many years. The Gerh Fock is a tall ship of the German Navy, built in 1958 as a replacement for the original Gerh Fock built in 1933, which was taken as war reparations by the Soviet Union after World War II, renamed Tovarish, and returned to Germany in 2003. Both ships are named in honor of the German writer Johann Kienau, who wrote under the pseudonym Gerh Fock and died in the Battle of Jutland-Skagerrak in 1916. You have seen the Windjammers. Now, on San Francisco Bay we have the Master Mariners Benevolent Association Regatta. Every year the Master Mariners Benevolent Association organizes a regatta where classic sailboats, designed or built before 1937, come out to race on San Francisco Bay. This year more than 60 boats came out to sail, and yes, race. Take a look and see just how exciting racing a classic boat can be.
These classic boats were designed with mechanical advantage meant many hands and bodies.
All right, guys, we're getting close to those hulls. When I say heave, you say ho! Heave! Ho! Heave! Ho! Don't give any back! Heave!
And most importantly, it required everyone to work together.
This is my 48th consecutive Master Mariners. We know the boat well now after 48 years, and I think we get the most out of the boat with a nice sail trip around the course.
You're not over!
It's great fun to see these boats like Brigadoon, Gold Star, and Frida on the water, having fun, and yes, racing. Summer came early with bright and sunny skies from noon on. The winds did their part, building as the day progressed to typically heavy breezes across the Slack.
Brigadoon, we've always had a rule, when you're at the helm, you never look back. Like, you're never looking for your competition, you're never worried about that. If you're steering, you're just steering eyes forward and you're focused on where you're going. So
100 yards from tide line.
We're bound away for Frisco Bay. John Kanaka July,
In those hard cuts, east and main first.
John Kanaka July. And then Frisco girls ain't got no cones. John Kanaka July. They comb their hair with the herring backbone. John Kanaka July.
In racing, you always try to get the last few clicks of speed. Sometimes that extra sail area doesn't help, and it definitely makes the skipper's job more difficult.
it's an incredible workout. You know, I usually, I don't know if you saw it, but I use like my whole like body weight sometimes to turn the wheel, and I'm usually sore the next day after a race, for sure.
She is very confident in her ability to handle the boat.
When the breeze is up and coming straight through the Golden Gate, the chop can get intense. Even on a reach, boats fight to keep up their speed.
We'll work tomorrow, but no work today. John
Not much we can do.
On bigger boats with multiple sails, it may be bumpy, but on smaller open boats, the adrenaline level is equal to the excitement of the ride.
We had a nice day. Got sun, good wind. Didn't do as well as we'd like. Well, we had our fastest time around the course, but not fast enough to beat our competition. They beat us by a couple of minutes. But a good day overall. Always nice to be out there. Any day nobody gets hurt and we don't break anything is a successful day on a 100-year-old wooden boat.
Encinal is very gracious. They put on a very good party, and we're very lucky to have them.
I heard the old man say, John, can I get today it's a holiday. John, can I get today? John, can I get today?
This is your weekly global sailing highlights show, The World on Water, July 12, 2024. Germany's Black Knight and defending champion Finport Finance at the 2024 Giltinan Worlds in Sydney 25-year challenge for the European Championship was held in Italy on Lake Garda. The Australian 18-footers league will continue its international 18-foot skiff program when a strong 10-team challenge heads off for the European Championship, which was sailed on Lake Garda, Italy from July 1st to 5th. Defending champion Finport Finance, Keegan York, and Yangdu, the current Giltinan World and Australian champion, head the team, which also includes Queensland's champion Bigfoot Bags and Covers, skippered by Dave Hayter. After missing the last 2 months of the recent 2023-24 Australian season due to hip surgery, 3-time European champion John Winning returns to the helm of his champion Yangdu skiff with eyes firmly set on taking his tally in the championship to 4 wins. Last year's championship was a thriller, with Finport taking the title on account back after finishing tied on points with Yangdu at the end of the 14-race regatta. John Winning, who is also president of the Australian 18-footers League, is looking forward to another tough contest against the talented Finport Finance team as well as the European teams, led by Germany's Black Knight. Black Knight's team of Heinrich von Bayern, Thomas Marden and Andy Marden finished third in the 2023 championship after recording a win and 11 top 4 placings from the 14 races. After winning the 2023-24 NSW Championship in Yangdu, Winning had to forego the rest of the season because of the hip surgery and could only watch as Yangdu, skippered by Michael Lane, won the Australian and Giltinan Worlds, with Fang Warren and Lewis Brake, in March 2024. According to Winning, it was tough having to miss such an important part of last season, but I'm hopeful that my recovery will allow me to put up a 100% challenge against both the Australian and international teams. Adding, as president of the league, I'm proud of the club's continuation of our 25-year support of the European Championship, which began in 1999 when Peter Sorensen won the title. Terry Hutchinson, New York Yacht Club, American Magic skipper, and president of sailing operations, discusses the upcoming month as the team is working at a feverish pace and we are less than 50 days away from the start of the 37th America's Cup in Barcelona. Meanwhile, in the city, reports have come out that the Barcelona locals, who like most of the Western world, are experiencing the effects of inflation, and they are taking it out on the tourists visiting the city by spraying them with water when in public. We hope it does not escalate and affect the America's Cup and its spectators.
Hi, I'm Terry Hutchinson. I'm the president of sailing operations and skipper for New York Yacht Club American Magic Challenger in the 37th America's Cup. Happy Independence Day to all our friends and supporters stateside at the New York Yacht Club and in the United States. Here we are in Barcelona, Spain, approximately 50 days out to the start of racing for America's Cup 37 and the America's Cup World Series. You know, it's been a pretty feverish pace here at American Magic. We have a lot of development going on really in a couple different areas. First, there's the actual platform, Patriot herself, that the sailing team is learning the innuendos of proper setup, you know, balancing the development of sail shapes, hydro settings versus the targets that have been given to us by the design team. In sail development world, Max and Juan are working at a feverish pace as the schedule gets quite condensed for us, and so for the sail designers and really the execution side of that in the sail loft, Ben Newton and the team are really going at gangbusters to deliver basically 4 mainsails over an 8-week period of time, and that again times 2 in jibs for not only the round robins but for the semifinals, finals, and the match. You know, as a sailing team, you know, our focus is evolving out of development and even more so into the race training around the race courses, where we're learning, you know, we're really learning the true performance of Patriot and what she can and cannot do. And I think both sides of that is critical. You know, as a team, we want to understand where we're strong, and we want to understand areas of improvement that we can take on into the racing. But it's an exciting time because you can feel the cusp of the competition in front of us. It's a little nerve-wracking because you also know that we're getting close to the culmination of nearly 2 years worth of work. So in that regards, I think we're all pretty excited to get into it. You know, the month of July will conclude with a bit of a measurement period and the media installation into the yacht. So we'll be down at the end of the month for approximately 4 days as all the teams have to go through this process. But as we look forward, we look into the month of July, I think we're pretty excited about what's in front of us. It's an exciting time inside of American Magic for the development of the women and the youth team. You know, these sailors have been on site now for 2 weeks, but really they've been an integral part of our team since the get-go, through the development and the execution of bringing sailors in to, you know, really the last year as the women and the youth have rotated in and out of the American Magic team, learning the idiosyncrasies of how to put in an AC-40 together, how to put it in the water, you know, growing into the AC-75, and then now they're on they're up in Badalona, where they're developing and taking everything that they've learned here on base and applying it really to their day in and day out training. It's exciting to see. You know, the last week we had a great lineup per se, where they sailed into windward of us in about 23 knots of breeze and positioned the AC-40 to windward, and then both boats tacked, and we had this just incredible lineup of the current and the future generation of sailors for American Magic. And I think when you contemplate the amount of work that goes into this, what's very cool to see is the experience that they're getting now, and how that will continue and perpetuate the future development of our sailing teams.
The 2 newly crowned Formula Kite World Champions have been leading the competition since the very beginning, but such is the format in Formula Kite that nothing is decided before the last day. The first to get 3 wins in the 4-rider final is the winner of the event, and depending on their performance earlier, this task can be easier or harder. Argentine teenager Catalina Turienzo and defending youth world champion Lisa Cavall from France were already in the finals, counting 2 and 1 points to wins respectively, waiting for their opponents to come through.
Calabria's extraordinary conditions are back! The day started grey and wet, but by midday the cloud had cleared and normal jittery wind had kicked in. 5 races were completed, seeing clear commanders in both men and women. Catalina Turienzo's performance was unmatched, though not without challenge, as Darren Attecan and Lisa Cavall pushed hard, leading the race at times. The men's qualifiers saw a split into 2 groups, with Jan Stragiotti winning all races in the yellow group. Joseph Jonathan Weston, Thailand's Olympic hopeful, consistently finished second behind Stragiotti. The blue group saw Wojciechowska winning 3 races, with Mattia Maini and Jan Voster each claiming 1. 5 more races are scheduled for Friday, ahead of the finals and the medal series on the weekend. follow kite classes to stay updated with what's happening in this area.
The 18-footer league's international support was accelerated back in the late 1960s, early 1970s when the then club secretary, Alf Bieshel, promoted tours by Australian teams to the USA, which was followed by an Open Worlds at Plymouth in the UK in 1978. The Australian teams are expecting challenges from Germany, Denmark, Hungary and UK, which all had teams finishing in the top 10 in the 2023 regatta. Australia's teams for the 2024 European Championship are Yan Du, John Winning, Fang Warren, Lewis Brake. Finport Finance, Keegan York, Gus Williams, Phil Marshall. Bigfoot Bags and Covers, Queensland, Dave Hayter, Courtney Maher, Elliot Maher. 6th, Nathan Edwards, Alex Leslie, Lockie Pryor. Shaw and Partners Financial Services, Emma Rankin, Adam Gilson, Tom Quigley. Fisher and Paykel, Jordan Gerdes, Josh Feldman, Jacob Broom. Marine Outlet, Brett Van Munster, Kurt Futuros, Flynn Toomey. The Kitchen Maker, Lachlan Steele, Jerome Watts, Ben Kirkby. Brewer Young Henrys, Simon Nern, Grant Rollerson, Finn Rodowich. Boat to be advised, Dave Lightfoot, Jack Joyner, Peter Ivanek. British Amoka 60 sailor, Pip Hare of Medallia, has her boat broken down into pieces for checking, before her Lego project of putting all the pieces back together, before the Vendée Globe race commencement in November. It's a huge job but one needed, as she will be sailing alone, unassisted, around the world. Good luck Pip, we'll be following you on the World on Water.
I'm here at the shed in Endeavour Quays and you can see Medallia in the tent behind me. So we're week 3 of our pre-Vendée refit. They're spraying anti-fouling on in the tent. There's quite a bit of boat building work still going on board. We've got the mast in here there. The keel is just behind me there, and just in the shed next door here, just in that corner over there, you can see our foils. So everything's in bits, and this is always the time when you think, oh, how are we going to get it all back together again? But it's all essential work, so let's just go have a little look at what's happening inside. So again, in here there's a lot going on, and we've just got a lot of protection up to keep all of the electronics free from dust and try and kind of contain the work. So the big things that are happening down here, and I am quite excited about this, is down here we are removing our lateral ballast tanks. It's been something we've been thinking about for a while, but the foils provide righting moment, and I've been using the lateral ballast less and less, and in the last 2 transatlantics I didn't use it at all, just as a test. So deep breath, and we're taking it out, and that's going to have a double benefit of making the boat lighter, because we're taking this structure out, making it a bit simpler on the inside, and also it means from kind of a security perspective, I've got visibility of much more of the structure of the boat, which kind of with the slamming and the motion from the foils and stuff actually feels quite good. It's a big decision, but I'm pretty pleased we've made it. We'll just pop down into the bow and have a look at the work that's going on in the bow. So just another thing to note here, you can see we've got slings on the back of the boat ready to hoist it up. So when we're done with the bulk of the anti-fouling, we'll just need to lift the boat up so we can get underneath where it sits on its cradle, just to do the patches in there. but for now let's just look at what's going on in the bow section of the boat. So one of the things we discovered since putting the big foils in is that the slamming, when the boat comes off the foils and then hits the water hard underneath, that was just starting to lift some of the secondary bonding between the ribs up here and the main hull. So just for that kind of belt and braces extra layer of security, we are going over some of the larger ribs. You can see the areas marked out here, and we're just putting extra layers of laminate over those just to make sure that they are well protected against that slamming motion when the boat falls off the foils, which is not a huge amount of work in terms of the actual size of the patches that are going on, but there's lots of areas of patches, so it's quite a detailed job. It's a lot of man hours, and it's taking a bit of time, but it's a job quite a lot of other boats are doing as well, so definitely something we needed to tick off before I even think about the Southern Ocean. So the schedule from here, we've got another 3 to 4.
These are the official highlights from Day 5 at the iQFOIL Youth and Junior European Championships 2024 Light Wind Slalom Racing for all gold fleets. Tricky conditions ensured lots of pumping, extreme maneuvers and well-planned tactical decisions. New Zealand's hopes of silverware at the iQFOIL European Championships rest on Josh Armitt. The rising windfoil star last night booked his spot in the Knockout Medal Series in Greece by blitzing to his first race win of the regatta in the last of 18 qualifying attempts.
Day 5 of the European Championships has arrived, and this marks just past the halfway line of the competition. The race committee making their way out onto the course as they're starting to see the first few puffs of wind coming through the lake now. In all the competitors' heads will be a lot of pressure as we ever get closer to those medal races. Preparing the boards and foils, making sure it's race ready and fast on the water. A long day, but a great day here on Day 5. It was quite light overall, meaning that we went for slalom racing throughout, but it was amazing. All the spectators on the shore were absolutely loving it. They were almost going double the speed of the wind and putting in some very sharp maneuvers and great battles on the course. We now have the remaining 3 days of racing coming up, and also we do have that live stream tomorrow, so make sure you tune in to see all the action firsthand.
The summer project will be the last project before the Vendée Globe for the IMOCA Hublot, a very strong symbolic step for Alan Rohrer and his team. Alan Rohrer and Hublot is heading for the Vendée Globe 2024, the Everest of the seas. Like our Pip Hare story, earlier in this show, Alan's boat is broken down and checked. Especially the foils, which go back to the makers, Persico Marine, in Italy. It's a huge job. But remember, he is racing alone around the world with no help.
Ces journées de manutention, on a ce qu'on appelle démater, c'est enlever le mât du bateau. Et puis ensuite, on a sorti la coque de l'eau. Donc là, on en a pour 1h30 à peu près de travail. Et puis derrière, on pourra mettre le bateau dans le chantier. À la base, c'est un chantier qui devait durer 2 semaines, mais il va durer 2 mois parce qu'on a pas mal de petits dégâts liés à la Transat CIC. Il y a un fond de coque qui est bien cassé, mais l'idée c'est de fiabiliser ce qui n'est pas encore fiable, il y a peu de choses, et de rendre 100% fiable le bateau à sa mise à l'eau pour le Vendée Globe. On vient de récupérer notre foil qui était dans le container depuis New York, donc excité de le retrouver pour pouvoir enfin l'emmener en réparation. Ça fait bizarre de le voir ici, chez nous, dans cet état-là, parce qu'il est quand même, il n'est pas très beau à voir. Donc là, le foil il va partir dès demain en Italie, chez Persico Marine, qui ont construit les foils. Donc ils vont d'abord commencer par le remettre entièrement à nu, et puis recréer en fait la structure, les pots au fur et à mesure, jusqu'à retrouver sa forme initiale. Donc c'est un gros chantier, c'est une réparation qui n'a pas encore été faite sur ce type de foil. Maintenant c'est le début d'une nouvelle histoire parce qu'il y a beaucoup de travail pour remettre et le foil et le bateau propre. On a hâte que ça commence, on a hâte que ça finisse et on a hâte de pouvoir renaviguer avec le bateau à 100%.